Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Koala and this is my little nook in this end of the universe that we call YouTube. And on my channel I share anything and everything between heaven and earth and beyond that relates to shamanism, witchy practices, animism and those kind of areas of life. So shamanism, Nordic shamanism, is at the core of my practice, and we are here today for our third video out of 5, talking about the elements in the Nordic shamanic practice. So we have gone through, we have talked about air, we have talked about fire, and now we are gonna talk about water. So that means that we have 2 elements left in this series after this video, and today I'm gonna talk about what the element represents, the rune of the element, any tools that I use that are related to this element specifically, the spirits of the element, getting to know the element, and where in the medicine wheel, the Nordic medicine wheel, you can find this element. So, on to the first of those topics. What does this element of water represent in the Nordic tradition? So, in my tradition, water mainly represents a few things, and that is emotions, intuition, and flow. So, those are the core things in the element of water. So, we have our intuition, right? And the flow, everything is flow. So the flow of the water inside of us is also important, like the blood flow and all of the waters, and balancing those is really important. It's an important aspect to water in my practice. So when working with water, my main focus is to work with balance of different sorts and the ebb of flow, and reminding people and myself that balancing the water element doesn't mean that we are always here. It means that we have an equilibrium that we strive for and that we get back to, but it's equally important to acknowledge the ebb and flow of life, the ebb and flow of ourselves, and to not get caught in the ebb or the flow of anything, to strive towards getting back into the equilibrium and to the balance of water. So intuition and emotions, and to work with our emotions and let them flow. So flow is a really key word in practice surrounding water. So the true core of my practice with water are the acknowledgement of intuition, flow, and you're working with your emotions. This element is Lagu or Laguz. It looks like this, and this is also the rune for one of the worlds, one of the 9 worlds that I've talked about, and I'm gonna link that somewhere here. So you can find the link to that video where I talk about Vanaheim. And Vanaheim is the home of Freya, and it's the home of the Vanir and all those. So this rune connects the water element to that world. That is the world of water. Everything is connected. So love is a really important emotion and feeling when we work with water. So rune has so many different properties, and it can symbolize so many things, and in a future video I'm going to talk more about the runes and what each rune represents and entails. And you can see me struggling to hold these things separate, and I think it's the most difficult when it comes to water, because the water wants to flow and it wants to expand and it wants to just find its own way. So it really is an extra effort for me to contain the water element, and I want to talk about that and not go overboard. Just jump out of the ship and go overboard. So, do I have any tools that connects me to this element or that I work with when I work with this element? And the answer is yes, I have quite a few. First of all, one is not in attendance today. He is otherwise engaged, you can say. And it's a drum that is connected to both air and water, and he's my healing drum. Another tool I have that is also connected to two elements is a rattle of a sort. So this is the rattle, and it is, I don't know if you can hear this. I need to refill it at some point, but it's hard because there's like one small hole and I want it to be open. I want it to be like a window for the air to come into this rattle, but I have closed all the other exits with they are closed off with a little piece of wood, I think, yeah, and what's the word, beeswax. So this is one of my rattles that is connected to water, and it's also connected to air. So this side, the blue represents water and the white represents air. And this is, I don't know what you would call this, but it's you're not supposed to do like this. You're supposed to just go like this. So it's a flow. It's like an ebb and flow. I hope you can hear. It's like I have a salt in here, and I also have a little bit of sand that goes from side to side, like an ebb and a flow, kind of like a waving sound. A wave sound, maybe not waving, but wave. And then I have a second rattle, and it is my water rattle. It doesn't have a particular name, but it is. These are corals, and I just wanna make sure to do a disclaimer. I bought this so many years ago now, before I had the deep understanding of the vulnerability of corals that I have today. So today I would not buy a rattle that has true coral inside of it or around it. I would not do that. This was me pre that knowledge. So just so you know. But there are corals here, and then there are coral inside together with I think red lentils. And this is my water rattle. This is connected to the water element. It has gotten some damage over the years, but it has fared quite well. And this is also driftwood. So this is actually one of my lighter rattles because it's driftwood. And this rattle loves to dance. It loves to it just loves to be a part of any ceremony or ritual that pertains to water, to flow, the flow of life, to movement, to dancing. And yeah, I love this rattle. But I said, today I wouldn't buy anything with true corals in it. So yeah, I don't remember what feather this is, unfortunately. I usually try to remember those things, but it's completely disappeared. And then I have, of course, this one that I showed in my air video as well. I can't believe I forgot to talk about this in my air video. So this is also connected to water. We have the rune here. Just as we have the rune for air here, we have the rune for water here. And this is for communication and flow. So this is like a talking stick, kind of, and or it is a talking stick, literally. It helps people to communicate. It helps people to when someone holds this, it seems it's like the staff itself aids people in their communication, in to find the words and let them flow. So I'm really happy with this stuff. Actually, it's quite long, but it's a good. I can sit with it, like if this is a normal position for this one, right? We sit in a circle, maybe on the floor or in a chair, and then we have this and on the chair, like between our legs, and then we sit like this, and it just seems to help you find your words and talk, find the flow. It helps you find your inner flow and to listen to your intuition. So those are my 4 tools that have some connection to the element of water. So including the drum I mentioned. And the spirits of this element are the water spirits. They don't really have another name. And there are different kinds of water spirits. But I think when we talk primarily about the Nordic tradition, we also talk about Rune. Rune is the goddess of the ocean, and she has 9 daughters, 9 waves that we work with. And I haven't really worked that much with her daughters. I work with and I honor Rune every August. So around when other people celebrate Lammas or Lunasad, that is when we celebrate Rune and Rune's fest, which is Rune's festivities or celebration. So we honor her and the properties of water and her divinity and the energy that she gives to water and her cleansing properties. I think that's the one thing that I'm often focus on, her cleansing properties of like cleansing the body, cleansing the mind, cleansing the spirit. And there's still so much work I want to do with Rune, and I will keep working with her a lot, and she calls on me quite a lot. But as I said, her specific date is at the beginning of August, so that's when we celebrate her in a goddess circle. So I think she's the most important spirit of water, and her daughters are as well. But then there are, like, I would say that each body of water has their own spirit, and the water as a whole is a spirit, just as water as a whole is a part of the Earth Mother, and kind of her bloods and her, like, the rivers and the oceans are her bodies of water, her arteries and veins and that sort of thing. So we look at the Earth as a being, and a being in and of herself, and the water is a big part of her, just like the forests are her lungs. And so on the topic of getting to know the element of water, I'm instantly drawn to the fact that I talked about the fire rune in my last video, talked about how fire and ice becomes water. So water is a product of fire and ice, and water is, we will always call it the life-giving water. That fire and ice together creates the life-giving water, because life would not be without water. There are so many elements and so many aspects that are necessary for life, and water is a big one of them. We all know how a big percentage of the human body is water, and we wouldn't survive without it. So working with water is not just working with water outside of yourself, but also working with water inside of yourself, and acknowledging that you are a part of that ecosystem. That the water inside of you were a part of a storm yesterday, and tomorrow will be part of the ocean, because of the cycles of life and the cycle of the life of water. So the first step is to acknowledge that you are a part of that ecosystem, and acknowledge your part in it, and that it's fleeting, that you are, the water inside of you is here today and gone the next, and that is always being exchanged, and that's a part of the cleansing, the yeah, the cleansing that the water does. It goes through you and takes toxins with it on its way out. It takes things that you don't need when you go to the toilet, and when you perspirate. That's the word in English, right? So you're just a vessel for the water, and to start working with water means that you start to work with the water inside of yourself and looking to reach that equilibrium I talked about in the beginning of the video. What do you need to have that equilibrium inside of yourself? Is there a dissonance, or is there an imbalance, and how can you help that? How can you balance that out? So that is the first thing that you do, and then you work from the inside out. And you can also, of course, work with water by honoring Rune and honoring her her divinity, and honoring the spirits of water that is around you. And you can talk to water. I don't know if you know this, but I think you might, that it's very easy to charge water with your emotions, with your intentions, and with your energy. And you can do this when you want to heal yourself, cleanse yourself, set intentions for yourself. You can also do it when you give water to your plants and your animals and everything around you. So what you need to remember how flowing water is, and that you have a fleeting moment to work with the water that you are holding in your hands, but at the same time that opportunity will come again with the next glass of water. So yeah, and I just love holding ceremonies to heal the waters of the earth and to help the waters of the earth. And I genuinely wish there were more I could do to help that process be manifested into the world and to help that come to fruition. But I also trust in the divine that way, that my ceremonies and my rituals will help the greater good and help water, and that I might be a tool or a channel for those intentions, but other people might be the tools for the next step of manifestation. So I work with water and follow the flow and follow my intuition. See how I got back to the beginning there, right? So yeah, work with water by working with yourself first. Work with water by working outside of yourself and find your place in the ecosystem and your place in the wholeness of how can we help water be clean. We need clean water to have clean bodies, clean minds, and clean souls. So where in the medicine wheel do we have water? We have water in the west. So in the west of the medicine wheel we have water, we have autumn, we have dusk, the sunset, and we have every time I call on west, I thank the west for intuition, guidance, and flow in my life. So yeah, so now we have gone from air in the east to then fire in the south and west in the water in west, and the next time we will go north and we'll see what we talk about then. So we have 2 elements left, ice and earth. So I will see you in my next video. And how do you work with water? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like my content. And walk in beauty with all the water of the universe, because you are a part of it and it's a part of you. Singling.